So I gotta be honest with you guys, I feel like dancing right now because giving this Get Inspired session has been my dream for so many years, right from my brother gave his first Get Inspired session 2 years ago. I had this dream one day that, okay, I'll get into MIT, and my eventual dream in life was not to get into MIT. My eventual dream in life was to give this Get Inspired session because, I was really excited about that. So dreams come true, So for this, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank USEF, to thank Selina ma'am, Priyani ma'am, and Slow sir, for literally being my family for over a year. I have grown both as a person and as a student because of you guys, and I'll be indebted to you for the rest of my life. So thank you so much. So before I start anything, I'd like to make it very clear that the tips that I'm going to share to you today are based on my own experience and are also based on the interactions that I've had with the admissions office at Harvard after I got in. So I've really worked hard for this session because so many people are in need of some help. So I emailed the admissions office, I Skyped with them, and I told them about this session. So the tips I'm going to give here are also based on on what they have told me. Okay. So before I start this presentation, I'd like to make a request to all of you. Try not to sleep in this session. Okay. In many sessions I've seen people literally sleeping and sleeping. So I hope that this is not going to work. This is not going to happen today. Okay. So. Just a year ago, I was just like you guys, applying to colleges, and I was in one of these seats here. I also used to come to many Get Inspired sessions, and I remember how I was 1 year ago, and during the start of college application. So I remember that I was like this. Can anybody tell me what this dog is doing here? Anybody? It's dreaming, right? I mean, that stupid bone is all he thinks about, right? It's all he cares about, all he dreams. It's in his mind all the time. So I was like this dog here, except that my dream was to get into Harvard. Getting into Harvard was that dream in the sky that I wanted more than any other dream in the sky. In fact, it was not a mere dream, it was a burning desire. I wanted to get into Harvard a lot. So when I tell that I had a dream to get into Harvard, some of you might be like this, right? You might be like thinking, everybody has a dream to get into Harvard, everybody has a dream to get into Stanford, MIT, so what's the big deal, right? You might be thinking like this guy. But I'm here to tell you today that having a burning desire to get into Harvard was the first and the most important step that I took that led me towards my dream, For me, getting into Harvard was not a mere hope, it was not a mere wish, It was that pulsating desire, that compounding obsession that transcended everything else. I think I wanted to get there into my dream school more than I wanted any other damn thing in my life. Nothing else was important. Every brain cell of my mind was occupied with this idea that, okay, if I utilize my full potential, if I work really, really hard, I can get there. So nothing else was important. Everything else was superficial. Sleep, eating, watching TV, watching movies, going hanging out with friends, all these things, playing computer, being on Facebook for a lot of period of time. All these things were secondary. I didn't care about them at all. So, but I have to tell you guys that there were some consequences. I had to face the consequences of being desirable towards Harvard. I lost some of my friends during this college application season because my friends were always calling me and inviting me to events. Like, please come here, hang out with us. Please come go watch a movie with us. But I used to always tell them that I'm sorry, I have this SAT thing to do. I have this essay thing to do, so I won't be able to make it. Every time they used to call me, I used to tell them that. So my friends got really angry with me, and they got really, really, frustrated with me, and they started being so upset, and they started complaining about me, and they started making fun of me, right? And they told me sometimes that, okay, you are not going to get anywhere, you are not going to get to Harvard. So they started making fun of me a lot. A lot of them started making fun of me. But the funny thing is that, the same people who made fun of me are, again, my friends now. After I got into Harvard, they started again telling me that I'm very proud of you, I always knew that you would get into Harvard. And those things happen, right? So it didn't matter. So sometimes also my parents started complaining about me because during this SAT peak time, I used to give as many as 3 SAT full practice tests a day. And during the entire SAT time, my mobile phone used to be switched off. So I used to switch on my mobile phone at the end of the day, and I used to call my mom, and she used to be like, "You donkey! I have been trying to call you for so long time. Your mobile phone is switched off. What the hell were you doing?" So she used to be really upset with me for this during this application season. But looking back at this application season, I have no regrets, because every day that I spent during this application season was one step closer towards my dream, right? At the end of each day, I used to write in my diary, what did you do today in order to get yourself closer to Harvard? What did you do today in order to get yourself closer to Stanford, to your dream school, right? So the first and the foremost thing that I would like you to take away from this lecture is that have that burning desire towards your goal. I mean, you all are capable of doing whatever you want to do with your life. You all are capable of achieving whatever you want to achieve with your life. But first, you need to love your goal. You need to love that dream, okay? So have that burning desire towards your goal, and I'm sure that you'll get into one of these colleges. So as much as I want this session to be really inspirational, I also want this session to be really helpful and fruitful for you guys for two reasons. The first reason, stop a minute, I'll just have this water because I'm getting thirsty. Okay, so I want to do this for two reasons. The first reason is that I have been through the same process as you guys have been, and I can understand how frustrating this period is, right? I mean, I have been through the same frustrating process, same excruciating process, so I want to do this first because I really want to help you all guys get into your dream colleges. And the second reason that I want to do this today is because, after I got into MIT, Harvard, Stanford, and all the schools, my Facebook and my email have been flooded with so many questions from prospective students. So many questions in order to, how the hell do I get into Harvard, right? So today I'm going to share with you some of the questions that I've been asked. Some of them are really interesting after, over this few months that I got into these schools. The first question, and this is the most repeated question, how much do I need to get on the SAT in order to get into 6 colleges, The funny thing about this is that he didn't ask me how much do I need to get in the SAT in order to get into Harvard or MIT. He had to get into 6 colleges that I got into. It's really funny, right? The second, which competitions and Olympiads do I need to win? So people believe that winning some competitions and Olympiads like Physics Olympiad, Math Olympiad will get you to college. It's your ticket to college. So people ask me this question. And the third question, what do I need to write on the essay? Now, many people know that college application essay is the most important part of your college application. So they're really worried about this essay thing, and they ask me, what is the right topic that I should write about the essay? So the fourth one, this is my favorite. Oh my God, you got into Harvard? When did you cure cancer and AIDS? Some people believe that getting into Harvard and MIT is impossible. You need to be 1 in a million, and you need to either cure cancer or AIDS. And in this case, he thinks that we need to cure both cancer and AIDS. One is not enough. So this is really interesting and funny. I laughed so hard after I heard this question. So fifth question, how can I learn to sing and produce music? This is also really interesting. I need to explain this first because there was one guy in Facebook, he asked me, what were your strengths, right? Why did you get into Harvard? How did you get there? And I told him that one of the reasons, I told him first that I don't know exactly, but I told him that one of the reasons that I got in could be that I was interested in music. I sent a music supplement where I sang songs in 4 different languages. I composed a few songs, I wrote the lyrics of a few songs, and I sent it to admissions office. And I thought that led me to Harvard, right? So that guy told me that I really, really want to get into my dream school. It was MIT in this case. I really want to get into MIT. So could you tell me how to learn to sing and produce music, right? So I told him that I don't know. I mean, I was so shocked with this question, right? So what people basically are asking me is, what's the formula? What is the right thing that I can do in order to ensure that I get into my dream school? And I really understand that people are asking me this question because this time here, everyone's time here is really frustrating, right? I mean, you are doing so many things and it's really frustrating, and these kind of questions are normal. So I believe that after this session, you will get these answers to these questions, and I'm really hopeful that you will get these answers. Especially the last part here was the formula part. I have a different slide for this question that I'll cover at the end of the session. So stay tuned until the end. Don't sleep until the end, so you'll get the answer, okay? So I didn't want this session to be much focused on the SAT. I wanted it to be more focused on beyond the SAT, but since so many people are asking me what to do in the SAT, I mean, what's the right tip to get, so I felt the need to cover this in the session, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the SAT now. Many people believe that SAT is a really knowledge test, you know. I mean, many people believe that okay, if I learn this vocabulary, if I learn this SAT math formula, then I'm going to get a score of 2100 and more. But I think that SAT is more of this, you know. Can anybody tell me what this is? Yeah, it's a pressure cooker test. I like to think of the SAT as a pressure cooker test because it's all about pressure. Time pressure mostly, because the math questions and the grammar questions range from easy to hard, right? So you are doing the easy questions, you get to the hard questions, and your questions are getting harder, time is getting shorter, and it's all about managing the pressure. So it's all about information management skills at this SAT, right? So let's talk a little bit about who makes the SAT. Who are the stupid people that make the SAT, right? It's so difficult test. What are these people? The people who make the SAT are called psychos. But what I should add to this is, it's not really psycho, it's something added to it, psychometricians. What are psychometricians? The people who have a PhD in psychometrics. Now, what is psychometrics? Psycho is related to mind, matrix related to statistics. So this SAT is a test based on the statistics of how our mind works, how we react to things under pressure, and how much have we got the information management skills. So from today, don't think of SAT as much of a knowledge test. Think of the SAT, try a different approach. Think of it as information management skills, and think of it as time pressure, okay? So let's look at some of the tips for the SAT. The first tip that I would like to give it to you today is practice. SAT is all about practice. You know, many people say that, okay, I have 4 months until my SAT, so I'm going to spend 3 months doing the vocabulary and doing the math formula, and I'm going to spend 1 last month doing the practice test, right? So I tell them to just reverse that, reverse it. Because SAT is all about practice, so just do that practice test. And the second thing that I would like to give it to you is also practice, because many people have different approaches to SAT, right? I mean, some of them might get better marks in the SAT if they work through the questions first and then get to the reading passages, and some might get better marks if they do the reading passages first and get to the answers later. So what's the way to find out what your approach is to practice as many tests. Practice all the approaches and think about which approach works best for you. Third point that I'd like to give you is also practice, because practice books from as many and practice tests from as many books as possible, right? Every book has something to teach, so do that. Now you might be thinking, why am I doing this thing for 3 times when I can do the same thing in 1 time, right? So the reason that I did for 3 times is because I wanted to stick to your mind and I want you not to forget it. It's really important, okay? So let's look at some other tips for the SAT. The first tip, learn from your mistakes. You know, failure is your biggest teacher in life in general and also in every aspect. So SAT is also all about failure. You know, I think about my experience with the SAT. At the end of each test, I used to write what mistakes did I make today in this test, why did I make those mistakes, and I used to promise not to make those mistakes again. So I used to get as many as 3 practice tests a day, so I used to write after the end of each test I used to write this, and it really helped me a lot to secure better. And the second tip that I would like to give you is check the answer explanations. You know, in the first few tests I used to be so lazy to check the answer explanations. I used to do the SAT test and I used to score, and I used to calculate how much score I got, but I was so lazy to check those answer explanations. But I realized that my scores didn't improve when I didn't check the answer explanations. So after I checked those, then my score improved and it started improving gradually. So answer explanations are really important. It's in the answer explanations they're written why is this question correct, why is this answer choice correct, why is another answer choice not correct, right? So just check the answer explanations in order to secure better. Now, third point is watch out for traps. Make sure you've checked all the answer choices before circling the correct answer. SAT is designed in such a way that there will be so many traps here, you know. It's all designed so that people will react under pressure, time pressure, and they will fall for traps. So the only way to not fall for traps is to check all the answer choices before circling, you know, because many of the traps are included in the first or second answer choice. So if you think that A is correct, then don't necessarily just circle the A answer choice in your answer sheet. Just check, first of all, cross all the other answer choices before making sure that that's right answer. Fourth is keep moving forward. SAT is a really frustrating test. I mean, you might have taken many practice tests, but you may realize that your scores don't improve, right? They don't improve in the first few days, but keep moving forward. It's all about keep moving forward, and you will get there. So if I take every test, assuming it's a real test, many people like to take the SAT like this. They sit in a lying position and they take the SAT, but I advise you to just come out of your comfort zone, come out of your bed, sit in a chair, and put your SAT book in a desk, right? And switch off your mobile phones and just take out your stopwatch and take every section of the SAT, assuming it's a real test, and take it in exact time condition. If you do that, you will be much more prepared for the real SAT. So don't take this SAT like this. So some of the book recommendations that I feel are important for you guys, because they really helped me a lot. These are the books that I would like you to have. So please note them down if you want to. Now, while some of you are writing this book, I would like to share my experience with the SAT. At the first, I used to take a full-length practice test a day, and then a full CR test a day, and then all the vocabulary thing, and the essay thing, and all of that in the rest of the time. But during the peak of the application time, I used to take 3 practice tests, as I tell. And I started from a score of 1600 the first time I took it. I got a 1600 in the practice test, and I landed on a score of 2340. So the highest I got on my practice test was 2340. But on the real test, I don't know what happened. I just couldn't perform that well because of some reasons, and I had to land on a score of 2060. I was really frustrated in that period, and I thought that I wouldn't get into Harvard with this score. This score is not good enough, but I thank God that I applied to Harvard anyway, and I applied to this school anyway, and I got it, right? So what I wanted to take away from here is that don't be frustrated with your SAT score. There are a lot of other things that you can do better in order to get there. Okay, so try your best on the SAT, but don't get frustrated if your scores are not as good as you've expected. So remember that my original topic of this session was beyond the numbers, because the things that matter to the admissions office are not SAT, they matter, but they're just the base, right? The SAT, GPA, and your achievement, high school achievement is just the base. What really matters is beyond that thing, right? The picture here represents this, these rocks represent the numbers, and that big ocean, it represents beyond the numbers is that ocean. So what you have to do is jump after you've done everything and discover all that is there to college application more than the numbers. So the first way that you can do go beyond the numbers is the college application essays. It's your ticket, that plain thing? It's a ticket to your college application essays. Now, when people think of the college application essays, they go like this, right? I mean, oh my God, what am I going to write in the essay? It's so difficult, it's so tough, right? But I'm here to tell you today that college application essays are the easiest thing that you can do in your application once you realize what they really are. So I like to think of the college application essays as a mirror. That blank paper out there is your mirror. You have to show it. It's a mirror reflection of yourself, right? So it's all that's there to college application essays. So how do you reflect yourself through your college application essays? So for this, you need to discover 3 things about yourself. First thing, discover your character. Second thing, personality. Third thing is passion. Character, personality, passion. Character, personality, passion. How does this sound to you guys? It sounds boring, right? I mean, these character, passion, personality, these words are so big, so complicated, so vague, right? And you don't really know what they are. So let's break this thing down to small pieces, small chunks so that you can digest. Before writing the college application essays, ask yourself these questions and get the answer to these questions. What do I genuinely care about? What is that one thing that I genuinely care about? Now, many people are asking me what I wrote on the application essay, so I'm going to tell you what I wrote. I wrote about my village. I was born in a very rural village on Baglung. It's a 3-hour walk from Baglung. It's called Bihu Suldana. And there are no facilities. There are no hospitals. There are no good roads. There are no education facilities. And my father and some other people, tried to establish a boarding school, an English school in my village, but it was burned by the Maoist rebels. There was one another government office that was burned by the Maoist rebels, and my school was also burned. So there was nothing. So what do I genuinely care about is I want to do something with my education. I want to go back to that village, and I want to develop this infrastructure. So that's what I genuinely care about. It could be whatever else for you guys, right? What do I love doing? What are my passions? For someone it could be basketball, for someone it could be football, singing, dancing, music, whatever it is. And I also wrote about this, I wrote about music, you know. I love singing. I can sing whatever. I can sing for 24 hours a day if I have to. So I wrote about one audition that changed my life. So I wrote about that in one of my essays, right? So what gives me true happiness and satisfaction? When you are frustrated, what is it, the one thing that makes you really happy? I also wrote about this in my application. It was music. So when I get really frustrated with my life, I just go to a quiet room, I sing loudly. The louder I sing, the happier I get, right? So music reminds me that life has given me enough reasons to smile. So that's what I wrote about in my essay. It could be whatever else for you guys. Have I been through an experience that genuinely touched my heart? Have you been through any experience that have genuinely affected the way you look towards the world? It doesn't have to be a very big experience. You know, in one of my essays, I wrote about a beggar. I want to share that story to you guys. I was walking, in a street here, and there was a beggar, in the side of the street, and he seemed really hungry. And all he had was a Parle G biscuit, and he just opened that very fast, and he's just devouring it. He just started devouring it, because he was really hungry. He wanted to eat all that biscuit, right? But just a dog came by and sat in front of that beggar, and that dog started looking at the biscuits. So that beggar did something that shocked me, After that dog started looking at he gave all the biscuits that he had to the dog. So that experience genuinely touched my heart, because there are so many rich people in this world who need to contribute to that society. But that beggar, he had nothing. All he had was a biscuit, right? But he wanted to help that dog, he wanted to help to that dog, so he just gave them that biscuit. So it genuinely touched my heart, so I wrote about that in one of my essays, right? So, okay, 5. Am I social? How do I treat other people? When other people are in need, how do you treat them? Are you social? So, 5th question, 6. What's my attitude towards life? Do I embrace life? Are you a positive person? Are you a negative person? How do you embrace life? Do I love taking risks? How willing am I to handle failure? So have you ever taken any significant risk in your life that has affected your life? Or how do you handle failure? Have you been through any failure experience, and how did you handle that experience? Has it really made yourself better as a person and as a student? 8. What cool things do I dream to do in my education? Do I have courage and initiative to make those dreams a reality? You all here have some hopes, some dreams in your education, right? You want to go to the US, you want to get a good education, and you want to come back or do whatever else you want to do with your education. So what cool things do I dream to do with my education, and what initiative do I have in order to make those dreams a reality? What can I contribute to the student body and the college community, right? I mean, you are going to go to those amazing places, you are going to get a good education, but what are you going to give back to that college, right? There is something. So in my case, I can give Nepali music back to the community. So I wrote about that in one of my essays. I can give that. I'm going to try to incorporate Nepali music into English music and do something in the music community, right? So 10, do I have an interesting past, an interesting worldview, or an interesting hobby? So these are the questions that you need to ask to yourself, and write those answers in your diary, and write them through your personal experience, okay? So in my case, I wrote an answer to all of these questions, right? Somewhere in the application, I had the answer to all these questions. So these questions are based on my experience, what I did in my application essay. So I would like to share with you now some tips for the essays. Don't second guess. The fact that it's really important. Actually, this was one of the points that the admissions officer at Harvard told me that I should tell to you guys, right? Don't second guess. The fact that I have written about music, I have written about my village life, I've written about all those things, doesn't mean that you need to necessarily write the same things. It actually means that you should not write the same things, because they have already taken me, right? They are not going to want an exact copy of me again, right? They have already taken me. It's all about diversity, so don't just think what other people wrote and got into those schools. Just discover yourself and write about what you're passionate about. Keep it simple. Don't try to make yourself seem so educated, because I know this is very tempting, because you are doing the SAT vocabulary thing and you want to just write those big vocabulary in your essay, but that's not going to work. Simplicity is the key. Just keep it very simple so that every reader can understand. Every sentence counts. Do not ramble through your essay, right? Every sentence, make sure that every sentence has some information in your essay, and make sure that every sentence counts in your entire college application essay. PT your readers. This is a very important point. Your readers, your admissions officer are going to take tens of thousands of essays. In one application cycle, they're going to read tens of thousands of essays. How is your essay going to be different? Your essay is going to be different when you be yourself, right? Every one of you here is unique. Every one of you here is special. They all have got special characteristics. So write about yourself, and you all are interesting people. Just show that interest to the admissions office. Now, some of you guys might be thinking that I have given you so many tips, right? So enough with the tips now. Will you tell me how you got into Harvard or not, right? This is the most important thing to you now, today. Because how the hell did this stupid guy, got into Harvard? So the most honest answer that I can give to you today is that I do not know. I'm not an admissions hacker. I don't know how I got into these schools. But I know that you are not going to be happy with this answer, right? You are not going to leave me until I give you the answer to the question. You are going to haunt me. You are going to give me nightmares until I give you the answer to the question. So, I got really scared of you guys firstly. And so I emailed the admissions office of Stanford and asked the admissions office of Stanford, how the hell did you take me? And how did I get into Stanford? So the director of international admissions of Stanford was very kind enough to tell the story how I got into Stanford. So I'm going to share today how. Take your time and read this. Sorry. You are truly a musician at heart, and your essays were almost lyrical. Despite the challenges you face growing up in a small village, your whole application seems to radiate happiness. You choose to see the beauty around you, but never lose sight of your determination to improve yourself and have a positive impact in this world, especially in Nepal. I see great opportunities for you at Stanford, but moreover, I see you pushing forward a class discussion in physics or chemistry while adding a valuable perspective to our student body. Happy now? Got the answer? Now, what do you learn from this slide? Come on, think about it. What do you learn from here? It's very simple, actually. What you basically learn from here is that Saroj Kandel is awesome, right? Yeah, I agree. Thank you. But on a very serious note, what you learn from here is that the things that matter are your passions. The key word here is happiness. This small thing, this positive energy, this optimism is what matters. Your SAT, your application entire is your base. But the thing that really impresses the admissions officers are beyond that thing. It's very simple things like optimism, happiness, determination, all these things, hopes, desires, passions. These are the things that matter to your college admissions officers, and these are the things that you should reflect in your application. Just discover yourself, go today and just meditate, whatever you have to do, just do it. Search the answer to these questions that I just shared with you a few time ago, and get those answers in the paper and write about that. If you really think about it, you all have got amazing essays, amazing stories to share. Okay, so I would like to share with you things that I learned after I got into 6 competitive colleges. I thought that college application was entirely different, but after I got into these schools, I've learned so many things about college application, and I'd like to share with you guys some of the tips. They want you to have a life. They are not looking for SAT robots. They just want you to go beyond academics, just do great in academics, but just forget about that after you're done with that and discover a whole new horizon that you've got, okay? They want you to have life, they want you to have passions, they want you to have determination. So, second thing I really need to share to you today is that depth and not breadth is the key. It's not about how many activities you've done. It's about what you've done, right? What significant contribution that you've done in your society. If you want to do tons of activities, do them. But don't do them because you think that will get you to Harvard. Do them because you love them, because you want to do them, okay? This is really important thing. I can't stress this enough. And the third and the most important, you don't need to cure cancer or AIDS in order to get there. It's not impossible, First step in order to get to your dream school, get into Harvard, MIT, is to apply to MIT, right? Have those dreams to apply and just get those dreams. It's not impossible if you try really hard, if you put all your effort, all your energy, all your enthusiasm, whatever you've got, back to that own goal, you're going to succeed. So, remember that I talked about this in the beginning. Now, what's the formula, right? It's the most important question that you all are asking me. What's the formula? As much as I hate to tell this, I have to tell you this, guys. There is no formula. You know, trying to define admissions with a formula is like trying to define life with a formula. Can anybody here define life? I mean, it's not like you take a cup of water, you add 2 spoons of happiness, 2 spoons of excitement, your life is great, right? This doesn't work out. Trying to define admissions with a formula is like trying to define poetry using mathematics. It doesn't work out. You know, recently it came in a study that there were one parents that gave $2.5 million to one of the consultants. He was an ex-professor at Harvard. They gave this guy $2.5 million and they told him that, okay, get my 2 sons into Harvard, right? So that professor tried to hack the admissions process, do whatever he thought would be great to do, and at the end, no one of them got into Harvard, and that parents are suing now. So it's not about formula. No matter how hard you try to impress people, there are really smart people in the admissions office. They know if this application is honest, if this application is genuine or not. So try to be as honest as possible. Try to think about what you have got. You know, just don't second guess. Don't try to make yourself seem so impressible, right? So this is really, really important. Just dive into yourself. So the best thing you can do is try to reflect your passion, character, and personality through your application, and hope that everything works out. So I've shared with you so many tips today, and I have done everything that I could do to help you. Everything that I could do to share to you my experience. So I hope that you have gained a lot from this session, and I hope that you'll apply these tips for your life, and I hope you'll get there. So before leaving, I'd like to share to you this quote that has helped a lot in my life. It's from Napoleon Hill. So just take your time to read this. If the thing you wish to do is right and you believe in it, go ahead and do it. Put your dreams across and never mind what they say if you meet with temporary defeat, for they perhaps do not know that every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent success. There will always be people who will hate you, you know. Before I got into MIT, people told me that you are not going to get into MIT because your brother is already there at MIT and they're not going to take 2 people from the same family. But after I got into MIT, people told me that you got into MIT because of your brother. He was there and he just told the admissions office, he just hacked the process and he got it. So there will always be people who hate you. No matter how hard you try to impress them, there will always be haters. So haters keep hating, potatoes keep potatoing. But my friend Ramoni told me, don't worry guys, the earth keeps rotating, okay? So I hope that everything works out well for you, and all the best. I hope 1 or 2 of you gets into Harvard next year, and if that happens, then we're going to party at Harvard, all right? So I hope everything turns out well, and thank you. So I'm going to open this session for questions now.
How much do you think that your supplement music, singing on the four languages in order to help you in your application process or something like that?
10%. You know, because I didn't send that supplement to Stanford, but I got into Stanford, which is statistically the most difficult to get into, right? Stanford is statistically the most people apply to Stanford throughout the world, so it's statistically more difficult. But I got into Stanford without sending the supplement. So I believe that it helped, but I didn't think it was the main factor. Okay? Any other questions?
I want to know, like, how old are you? I mean, you have accomplished
I think to myself that I'm pretty young. I like to think so, but I'm so sorry that you feel that way. I'm 19 years old. You don't believe me? Or?
You've accomplished, like, so many things in such a young age, and I want to do that too. I may not have done so many amazing things to now, but
it's not about how old you are. It's about what you put into your application, right? It's not about how much of age you have covered. It's all about passion. It's all about determination. It's all about hard work. So, yeah. Although I look old, I'm not that old.
I'm not saying.
Thank you. So kind of you. So, next question.
Why do you choose economics as your major?
Actually, I haven't chosen economics as my major, but I like to think that that's what I'm going to do because I have an interest in that topic, and I like to think of economist, and I think that's what I'm going to do, but I'm not exactly sure. I might change my subject after I get there, because you don't have to decide your major until you are in the second year, so I can take all the courses and then choose what I'm passionate about. So it's just a topic of my interest, but I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, there is one name from here. Yeah, you.
You applied for economics, right?
Sorry?
You applied for economics, right?
No, actually I applied for computer science, and in some schools I applied undecided. So it's not about which major you want to do, so it's, you don't have to stress about that. You can apply for undecided, it does not matter.
So it does not matter about application because which subject you choose to study?
No, it doesn't matter. I mean, if, Princeton has one engineering essay, so if you have to do engineering, you have to write that essay in Princeton. But it's not about what major you want to choose, it's about adding to the college community. They don't really care what you might have to major, because 90% of the people, at least at MIT, they change their majors after they have gotten, so they might have other interests and they might discover other interests, so it's not about...
That means the application process is common for every
Yeah, actually, in UPenn it's not common because there is a different Wharton school and there is another school for engineering, but in most of the schools it will be common, so it's not about what your major is.
You know, like you started at 5:30 or something when you started and you were reading.
Yeah.
And you improved till 7:30 or something.
Yeah, 750 was my highest.
How was it? So what is did it put that?
Yeah, exactly. I told you that, right? I mean, it's all about practice. You just practice in time condition, and you just try to keep moving forward, and you.
Did you learn vocab?
Yeah, I learned a lot of vocab actually. These people used to call me vocab master because I used to learn all those vocabs from Barron's book. I had those all covered. The 3,500 vocabulary from Barron's, I had those all covered. I also learned the word power made easy book that I recommended, and I learned all those vocabulary. Yes. It's really simple, you know. Once you love it, you're going to do it. You know, it's just first have that. Just don't get afraid of your dreams. You know, just love that dreams desire, and you're going to get it.
You know, reading those passages are the most boring things ever.
Initially, I felt that, but after you've done that, then it's going to work out.
If I start reading, till I go to the last portion, I just feel like finish.
Yeah, that happens, but you need to keep forward. I can't say anything else right now.
I've gone through different websites of Ivy League, and they have all mentioned that if you want to declare your major, that if it is that engineering, then you must declare it. This sounds like you.
I think that it depends on colleges, right? I told you what Princeton and Cornell also has a different engineering essay. So if you're really sure about that, declare. If you're not sure, don't declare. It's just that you need to be honest. If you're not undecided, if you don't know what you want to do, just tell them that you don't want to.
I really don't want to quit my science field, and along with that, I want to take social science field, like international relation and all that. So does it really matter to declare?
No, actually, our first OF bachelor candidate, no, it was Osman Kaki. He also wanted to do social science, and he did that. So it's not a problem. You can do whatever you want to do.
So what subject do you take?
Physics, chemistry, and mathematics too. Yeah.
Why Harvard?
There are a lot of reasons. Actually, I can't say as many reasons, but I'll tell you why I chose Harvard. First thing, that my financial aid was really great, and the second thing is that global recognition of Harvard is really, really unmatchable with any other college. I mean, it's the most prestigious, and the ability that you can decide your own major. I mean, if you're interested in computer gaming, you can major in computer gaming, and you can get a degree from Harvard. And the music community at Harvard was really vibrant. You know, I personally felt that the music community was fantastic, most fantastic. And there are so many other reasons that I can't tell you now. I'll tell you. But the other things is the low student to faculty ratio. So that's also, you really get to know the professors well. They are really accessible. They all hold office hours. And the housing system is amazing. The suit system that Harvard offers is unmatchable. So there are so many questions. And I don't know how to cook, so I didn't choose MIT because you have to go there and cook there. And I wanted dining options, so that's also one.
Is the SAT subjects is so important?
Yeah, it's really, every part of your application is important, but most important is your personality and character.
SAT subject is.
Yeah, it's important, of course. First, it's important.
So for getting into an Ivy League, it's quite like must.
Don't only think about Ivy Leagues, you know, just think about, for every other, it's a part of the application, right? It's required. I mean, for Stanford, it might not be important because it's not a required component of the application, but many schools require SAT subject tests, so it's really important. You have to do it well, but it's not that difficult as much as the SAT is, right? Yeah, so, any other questions, please? You know, you asked so many questions on Facebook, but why don't you ask it here? Yeah. Yeah, actually I forgot to mention that. Interviews are really important. You know, if you have an interview, do the interviews. And my interview went awesome. You know, I like to believe that interviews are what got me to MIT. The Indian guy that took my interview was really fantastic. I got to share a lot of my experiences, and he told me that you are the MIT guy. If you don't get into MIT, no one is going to get into MIT. So, yeah, interview helped.
Could you please share your experience, like person have you asked specifically how to answer?
It's all about why do you want to go to that school, and it's all about presenting yourself. What are your interests? They just like to see you beyond the application, right? They just want to see you as a personality. So just try to reflect what you are interested in, what you are passionate about. Small things also matter, so just don't take it very seriously. Just present yourself, and that's going to work out. Any other questions?
Many people regard SAT critical reading section as a very difficult one.
Louder.
This SAT critical reading section is regarded as one of the difficult one, right?
Yeah.
And any special tips regarding it?
How to read better and faster, that book. Just read that book. It offers a lot of tips about how you can just improve your reading. It's all about. I personally scored better when I just went through the questions first and then went through the answers. There are some questions like in lines 81 through 84 what is. So I used to just look at those questions and I used to underline line 80 through 84, and then when that section part came, then I used to get really focused on that. So that really helped. But actually, I would like to take this opportunity to say that SAT is not as important as you think it is, because we are international students, you know, and they are going to compare ourselves in the Nepalese application pool. They are not going to compare ourselves in the world application pool. So for Nepalese, it's if you have a very average score, it's also okay. But if you have anything else interesting in your application,
You mean to say that getting in the Harvard assignments, we are competing against the Nepalese stream, but or rather?
yeah, they look at you in your application pool. I mean,
As a
yeah, because Nepalese people are poor, right? They don't have every opportunity that all the rest of the world has, right? So they are going to look at in your pool, just they are going to compare it with your other colleges, other students. They're going to look at in your country.
I was once told that size scores are evaluated by the place where you live, so that we are South Asians. Yes?
Yeah, there have been statistics that prove that, but that's really, it happens because, you know, we people have not been trained with SAT since we were kids, right? But the American people, they are trained from their junior schools, from secondary schools. So yeah, that happens because we have not got enough opportunities as much as they have. So. Yeah. Other questions?
On the secondary essays, the supplementary essays, very important.
Yeah, they're all important. Essays are very important. Just try to reflect as many small skills that you've got for your application, whether it be the main application essay, whether it be additional essay, whether it be supplemental essay. Just try to get everything covered. Just every small skill that you've got is important.
Do you remember how many total essays did you write?
I wrote many, you know. I used to write one essay just like this. I used to take 1 hour to write the essay, and I used to tear it because I thought that
How many complete essays do you submit?
I applied it to 9 schools. I applied it to 10 schools, and I just withdraw one from over it. But so yeah, about 15, 20, I guess. I don't know.
Why didn't you apply more than 10 colleges? Just because you said provided for 10 colleges?
Yeah, that was one of the reasons. Yes, of course, that was one of the reasons. And the second
Why
thing is
didn't
that
you use Covenant?
I use Common, right? But I have to send the scores, SAT scores, and TOEFL scores. I have to send, so it costs money, right? So you people are lucky that you got it opportunity funding. Any other questions? Yeah.
Did you apply early? No.
Not so lazy. I did apply. I actually wanted to apply early, but for some reasons, actually, my teachers didn't write the recommendations early, so I didn't apply. Yeah.
What do you think is the consequence of applying early season? Is it good or
These
your
people,
personal experience?
so sorry, the expert in that field, I
No,
actually don't know, you know, because I didn't apply. Sorry?
Why didn't you apply? You thought you might have done something.
I didn't apply because I thought that having extra time would give my application much more fluency, much more conciseness, because I didn't want it to do. I just did the SAT in October, right? So it was November, December. So I didn't want to do it because I needed enough time to just discover myself through the essays, just enough time to know what I was really passionate about and know what I wanted to present to the admissions office. So I wanted to take time, and so yeah, that's one of the reasons. Any other questions?
Was there a probability of being denied by all the colleges?
Of course there is.
For you?
Actually, there's 90% probability that you will be denied, because they're looking for the best fit. It's not about how intelligent you are, but it's about how you fit to that college. Because like every one of you have got different personality, every college has got different personality. So if your personality matches to that college, then you're going to get there. So, I actually talked to one of the admissions officers at MIT, and she told that there are so many people there who are really talented, but we don't take them because they are simply not the right fit. So it's all about fit. So you need to research the college as well. You need to research what kind of students they take, and you need to research which college is the right fit for me. So it's not about the.
How did you feel when you get admitted to all the colleges?
I didn't believe it actually, and but I was average. I don't know. Just because I think every second I used to be thinking about getting there. So I didn't get that excited as my brother got when he got into MIT. I didn't get that excited. So it was average, I should say, right? Because after that, I was really frustrated, actually. I have to say this, because there were so many good colleges, and I had to research for so long that I didn't used to sleep, because I had to research. I didn't want to miss any goodness of other colleges. So I had to research a lot about which college was the best fit for me, and I spent a lot of time on the research. So more than happiness, there was this tension that which college is the best fit for me and where I can, contribute the most.
Everyone is concerned about the colleges you got accepted. Can you please tell about the colleges which rejected you because of
I got rejected from Princeton and Duke, and I got waitlisted from Green Hill, so that's it. Yeah. Okay, any other? Yeah.
How to make the most out of it?
Sorry?
How to make the most out of it?
Gap year? Think about what your priorities are. Just if you want to be social. Yeah, just think about what your passions are, right? First, and think about what you can do in order to get good at those passions, and just try to reflect those through your application. Just don't second guess. Just do what you're interested in. Just do it from your heart, and that's all I can say, right? So, gap year, I should say that just engage in activities that you're interested in. Just don't get engaged in so many activities, and just don't get all the surfacely done, but just get into it, right? So do something really, really substantial. So that will really help you.
What do you personally think can be a challenging test for you guys? Do you have any?
Actually, my first challenge was I couldn't figure out what I would be doing if I didn't get into these colleges. I always used to think that I'll take as many gap years as I can, and I'm not going to do anything else. I'll just do this SAT thing, this application thing, and I'm going to get there as much as I, feel the need to. So, yeah, I didn't think about anything else. So for me, it was challenging to come out of failure. I thought my SAT score was a failure because I used to look at those college confidential statistics, and my score was 2400. I got a perfect score, but I got rejected from Harvard, all the schools that I applied to. So I got really tense. SAT I thought was the biggest part. So yeah, it really isn't. Right. Any other questions? Yeah.
Do you think to prepare for SAT and this college application process, we need to get locked up into a room and?
No. But I like to think that just keep a desire. If you think that will help you, just do it. But if you want to be social, but don't be social at the cost of your future, at the cost of your dreams, right? If you feel like that one phone call is disturbing you a lot, then you got to be able to say that the number you're trying to call is busy. Call me after January 1st, right? So, just if you think that something is disturbing you a lot and it's disturbing at the cost of your application, then just say the priority straight. That's all I can say.
What's the best time for giving SAT?
Sorry?
Best time to do SAT?
It's all about how much you've prepared, how much do you think you have prepared for the application, and how much ready you are for the SAT. So if you are ready by December, do in December if you're ready. But best is to do it in October, because if you do the SAT thing first, then you will have tons of other things to do and tons of time for that. Because if you want to do the SAT in December, but there will always be pressure that, oh, I haven't yet finished with the SAT, so there will always be pressure. So do it as soon as you can if you think you're really prepared for it. Okay. So
What was your stat math score?
760, 760 math, 600 CR, 700 writing. Writing.
Set to score.
Sorry.
Set to score. Set to score.
Set score?
Set to score.
20 to 40. 730 in chemistry, 716 physics, 715 math. Okay. So anything else? I got 111 and 111. 321.
So the last questions for Saroj, last couple of questions. Before we ask for some final words of wisdom.
You know, guys, I've done everything that I could do to help you today, so I hope that you know you really first the application process efficiently, and all the best, okay? So if you have any other questions, just let's, yeah.
Do you still believe very easy how can we issue awareness?
Actually, I also asked the same question to Selena ma'am, so I think it's better to ask Selena ma'am. How to get better at speaking English, right? I learned a lot from her, and I learned a lot from Saroj to speak very, very fluently. And actually, I learned a lot from movies. I am a movie freak, you know. I used to watch movies a lot, but during the entire application season, I just stopped that. But now I have a lot of free time. I have all the free time in the world, right? So I watch a lot of movies. I also have that accent thing. I just really want to get that accent. I'm learning, but I hope Harvard and America will prepare me for that accent. So it's all about you try. If you want to do it, you will do